Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Today's Standard Brawl commander is going to be Kodama of the West Tree. It is a legendary creature spirit, free, comes out for free, and it has reach. Modified creatures we control have trample, and whenever a modified creature we control deals combat damage to a player, we search our library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, and then we shuffle. So modifications is a new thing from Kamigawa. A creature is modified as soon as an equipment, an aura, or a counter is on that creature, and then it counts as modified. In the deck itself, we want to go for some early enablers that will guarantee us a hit on turn 3 with the Kodama ability. For example, the Iron Apprentice is a pretty cool card. We have the Swarm Shambler who enters with a 1/1 counter and is by that immediately modified. We also have the Jaspera Sentinel just to be able to ramp depending on our situation, because we have good follow-up on turn 2. Coiling Stalker, Dauntless Survivor. So a lot of different cards that you see here that either works with 1/1 counters or are simply enablers for that. Rune of Might is a great card in here because of the 1/1 and trample. As an enchantment, it also counts as modifying a creature, and followed up by some other cards that trigger, for example here the Territorial Skyfcat that simply uses landfall triggers to get 1/1 counters on it, and it has trample itself. So also a nice addition. Skewed Swarm is also one of the win cons. You just go as wide as possible with the Kodama triggers and swing with a lot of 1/1s for the win. There are also some newer cards. The Fight Rigging is a great card that if you are able to hit one of your big win cons with it by the Hideaway, you pretty quickly get to the point where you can trigger that, because you also put 1/1 counters at the beginning of combat on your creatures. So Fight Rigging, such a good card in this deck. And talking about win cons, Toski ain't a win con in here, but he is the one thing, or one of the things that enables us card draw. But coming to the win cons, the Froghemoth is a great creature that also exiles cards from our opponent's graveyard, and it is also able to modify it itself by that with 1/1 counters. Talking about the win cons, we have the Everbrook Caretaker that when it flips to nighttime is simply a win condition on itself. The Hollow Wench Huntmaster simply says other permanents we control have hexproof, and at the beginning of combat on our turn we put 2/1 counters on each creature we control. This is a huge bomb, and if we are able to flip it to nighttime, this will end the game for us. Then we also have Vorinclex, who would have guessed. It is a trample haste, and it doubles counters for us and it halves counters for our opponent. Simply a win con on itself, and it works great in this deck. The Titan of Industry, one of the newest additions from Streets of New Capenna, is also a card that is simply so powerful that we had to include it. The shield counter counts as a modification, and also things like destroy target artifact or enchantment often helps out. The Rhino token also shouldn't be underestimated. It's still a 4/4 that comes along with a 7/7 reach trample, so great card in here. Turntimber Symbiosis is one of those flip lands, and yep, you use it maybe as land or maybe as one of the sorceries, and with the addition, the creature that enters from it enters with 3 additional 1/1 counters, so it's also immediately modified. Lands, pretty simple. We just go for 23 snow forests and 1 Field of Ruin, depending on if we have to answer anything. I would have liked to make some other additions, like for example the Crawling Barrens is a pretty cool land in this deck, but I don't want to invest the wildcard now short before the rotation. And overall, this deck is just very fun, very simple also in my opinion. Roaring Earth, a great card that also synergizes very well when you get several Kodama triggers. Overall, it's a deck that works around fighting your opponent's creatures very early. When you are powerful enough, turn 3, you most likely always want to bring out Kodama and work on getting those triggers done. And yeah, overall a very fun deck, and I would say we just jump into some games and see how this deck does. Okay, so we are against Ginny Fey. So tokens deck, I think it will be pretty fast, so I'm not that much of a fan of this hand. I like the prize fight, but we will go for a mulligan here. This hand doesn't look any better. So this looks better. I think with what I'm seeing here, I am fine to cut a land for the start. And let's see how this turns out. Okay. So I want to make sure that I can play Kodama on turn 3, so I am fine with drawing a card here. Alright. Our Sentinel is already modified, so if we get this through, we are good to go. Should get our first Kodama trigger from that. Alright, Ranger class. Boring Clags. So let's see if our opponent is about to jump or if they are going to give us this land. Alright. Opponent is ramping, alright. Okay, so we definitely want to hit some land drops in the normal way too, so we will just go for an all-out attack here. If they double block Kodama, we are fine with that. It preferably destabilize their board here. This is a very unusual block, but okay, we'll take it. Let's draw 2 cards of Toski. Sadly, no land there. Would have loved to hit that. To be sure to play our Vorinclex next turn. Alright, Skewed Swarm. That is scary. First copy there. Okay. So we could play Vorinclex, but I definitely want to draw more cards, so I will bring out the Skewed Swarm now. And we will attack with everything, because we have our massive might in hand. And can do some good trades here, depending on how our opponent is about to jump. Okay, so we want the land. Alright. And our opponent sees what's about to come. There we go. Let's jump right into the next game. We are against Obnixilis. Okay, this is going to be tough, as our opponent can ping down some of our smaller creatures with the devils dying. So I don't like this hand. This one looks way better. Turn 1 Shambling Guest. Oh no. Unwilling Ingredient. Snakeskin Veil is a great draw here. Sadly, no turn to play it. Alright. There's our turn to play, that's good. We will go for it, as I definitely want a card draw, or either force our opponent to use one of the removals. There's the Infernal Grasp, alright. They are going to attack and probably will use the Obnixilis already now. Would make sense, I'd do it. Yep.
Enough. Notions of morality. All that matters. You work for me now, runt. My coin or carnage.
Well, due to the fact that I would like to hit the landfall trigger with our Scythe Cat, we will just play it like that and try to get a bit of a mana advantage here, although it's going to be tough now. This resolves.
Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
This resolves too.
Defy me, and you'll lose everything.
Darkside Chef, that's scary too. So they can simply sacrifice the devil and kill our Scythe Cat. Let's see if they are going to oh no, they didn't, alright. Okay, they wanted to draw the card. Fair, reasonable play. Down to center. Okay. Drawing another card. Well, they sacrifice it. And it's the battlefield, draw a card if a creature died this turn, otherwise each... Ah, okay. Alright. Yeah, powerful play. I don't really see us coming back from here.
Your punishment is my entertainment. Pleasure doing business with you.
Let's see. I don't see us coming back from here, but we'll give it a try. And yep.
Go ahead.
We'll keep
Please
taking it for now,
mercy.
as we are getting scarily
Pleasure
low.
doing business with you.
Alright. Yeah, good game. Okay, this hand looks great. I like the emergent sequence on turn 2 as it is a modified creature immediately. Snakeskin Veil, prize fight, looks good. We are against Tovola, a werewolf deck. This is going to be interesting. Where we see the naturalist. Oh no, the masked vandal. Alright. Alright. Okay. Is it time for Tovola? No, the Celestos. Alright, Day Night Circle starts here. Okay. We will play Kodama, attack with land. Do we want to kill the Vandal? I think I want to keep the opponent's board pretty low here, so I am fine doing that like that, even though we don't get any trigger of Kodama, but I pretty quickly want to destabilize our opponent's board. So let's see. Alright, pack leader. Okay, that is great at what we just drew. I think what we want to do here is we will signet to 1 and 3, not enough. I think the first thing that we want to do is fight here. Then we will go for a prize fight here. And then we are going to attack. We can get 1 trigger out of it. But let's attack with Kodama too. Okay. Will we see a recovery here? No, okay. Alright, another land. First of all, we want to modify Kodama. Then we will go for our fight rigging. Would have been great if we would have played fight rigging before. So we could have hit the warring flags of it, but yeah, you never know. So what can happen now that our opponent has a Snakeskin Veil or something like that, but then also Tovola dies? Alright, 2 triggers, great. Okay. That was a good turn for us. Is our opponent about to filter with the Celestus? You have on a glade, okay, returning a card. Okay, that is scary. I wouldn't do that. Okay, I'm fine. We wanna modify warring flags. Alright. That was it. Pretty cool match against werewolves. I think it was very important to destabilize our opponent's board very early. As Tovola would have sticked around for another turn, it would have flipped, and then with all of the werewolves around, that wouldn't have been beneficial for us. So yeah, right call there. Ran in 6, alright. Oh, ran in 7 in this case, yeah. This hand looks pretty good in my opinion. If we can find another land, we can enable the indestructibility from the Blizzard Brawl. We found an emergent sequence, that's also very good, so we will have 2 modified creatures in turn 2. Alright, there's another land. Should have attacked first. I always do the same thing. Okay, so next turn we can bring out Kodama, and this is a huge blocker. But I think what we will do, we will bring out Kodama. We will use the green to Blizzard Brawl the troll here. Because I really want to get the triggers going. It's so important. And we have enough gas in hand that we can keep up with our value train. That is good. That is a huge setback for our opponent. Okay. Do we wanna? I think we want to, yes. It's either this way or that way. Either way, 5. Let's get 2 triggers, and with the Roaring Earth, that will be big. Yep. That going for searching up those basic lands was definitely what set our opponent back. I mean, I don't know what he had in hand, so that was like open gates for us, and we definitely used it. Okay, this is going to be interesting for our Skyclave Hierophant. Do we want to keep this hand? No Ninjutsu Enabler, no turn 1 play. We are on the play, so this isn't any better. I like the Field of Ruin in this hand, but I guess we will go for another mulligan here. This looks way better. And we can bottom 1 land, so we have enough. Iron Apprentice is such a cool card in this deck. Okay. I think here I want to bring out the Recovery just to make sure to have our 3rd land drop next turn. Hopefully our opponent won't bring out any Cleric. They might have a Vanishing Verse in hand now, but we simply gotta go for it. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Vanishing Verse. Reasonable. That is a setback for us. Okay. That is a good draw. All that we need now is another land for turn 5 replay Kodama. As I am totally fine if they bring out their commander now, okay. Not the land. I think the way that I want to play it is like this. Could have played it the other way around. Go for another landfall trigger. And if we are lucky next turn, we can play out Kodama. Maybe there will be a Doomscar now. Yep. Alright, there's the land. As this creature has a Death Touch counter in it, I want to prepare for the next attack. And our opponent is most unlikely going to block it, and it counts as a modified creature. Alright, our opponent is definitely not going to block that now. The Snakeskin Veil is great for us to keep in hand, so we can protect Kodama for the next turn and then engage with Vorinclex. But our opponent has a Righteous Valkyrie on the field now, which is scary too. And yep. But with every trigger we are thinning out our deck. Okay. Alright. Yeah. We just want to keep the pressure up, simple as that. And here we go with, I think, just with the whole team. Let's see how our opponent blocks. And depending on how they do, we can still interact with the Snakeskin Veil. That is okay. I definitely want to kill the Righteous Valkyrie here. And yes. Okay. Let's see. Does our opponent have another board wipe? Not enough for farewell. Maybe they will bring out their commander now. Or they just remove Kodama here. Okay. We don't have to kick it yet. We first attack. Although, I think I'll keep it in hand. We don't know what our opponent might play now, then we have nothing left. Okay. That should be game. Nice. Interesting one. The early Vanishing Words on Kodama was scary, but we were pretty good with our draws, so we're able to take the win there. Right, we are against Katilda. So this is going to be a race here. We are on the play. We have several turn 2 plays, but nothing for turn 1. I like the early Roaring Earth and the Kapatek Wrecker. Do we want to play it? I think let's give it a try. My feeling is telling me that I should have gone for Mulligan there, but yeah, we'll try. Usually the opponent's deck rarely has a turn. Well, nah, it has turn 1 plays, but usually they wanna rush early into Katilda. So we will profit from our Kodama right away. Give us a mana advantage here. For another basic, we will keep the counter. Depending on what our opponent is about to do now, they can go for a 4 mana play. We can go for the Rune of Might, simply modify Kodama here and still have the Massive Might as a backup. Oh, depending on how the board develops, we will go for the Roaring Earth, go for an attack, keep the Massive Might back, and we'll be able to land a few land drops there and landfall triggers. Well, it ain't directly landfall. Well, it is landfall, but it isn't written as landfall on the card itself. Okay, first time out for our opponent there. Going for the discard. This is a great way. Now we can play Roaring Earth, play a land, modify Kodama, go for an attack, get 2 additional lands, 2 more triggers. But I think our opponent just went offline. Yep. Oh, that's sad. I think that would have been an interesting match. Our opponent definitely would have had to take the hits from us and we would have had a huge mana advantage. But they simply cannot jump block with the Katilda. Depending on what our opponent would have had, they would have a chance to come back. Alright, we are against, how's she called again? Izika, God of the Tree, yeah, with the Prismatic Bridge. This is a great opening hand. Well, not the best, but still, I like the Gala Greeters in this deck. Turn 1, just Para Sentinel is doing a great job in so many decks. It's really a good card here. Okay, we can easily follow up with the Greeters here. Next turn they can be modified as Kodama enters. Okay, 3 mana here. Briefcase for opponent. Citizen token. Trigger here, 1/1 counter there. And then we will go for the attack. Could have also attacked with the Sentinel here. Okay. Yep. First trigger. Great. Next turn we could go for the Froghemoth, but we could also go for Skewed Swarm and get way more triggers out of it. Okay, binding. Reasonable. Going after Kodama probably. I mean, we can just replay it and just keep developing our board and getting more triggers out of it. And I think that's exactly what we want to do here. What do we want on? I think I will get a treasure token here. Since we drew the Titan of Industry, I really want to go for it. This time we are not missing out on any damage. Get another basic land, and next turn we can go for the Titan. We could destroy the binding simply because of the fact that it would give their creatures Death Touch. Briefcase, do we want to destroy it? Not really. Doomscar, that. Okay. So since we won't have any useful attacks anyways, we can just try to rebuild in the best way possible, and I think one way is to do by going for the Skewed Swarm here, playing another land, and preparing the Rangers class here. We can also go for a level up. I think that's okay. Our opponent can go for the bridge now, and if they are about to, we will just destroy it with the Titan. Great. Alright, so we will and we could go for the triggers first here. Titan of Industry. Let's see if our opponent... Yep, okay. Totally forgot about it. Now that will be interesting. Okay, there's a Coma. That is a big one. Does it also lose... Its activated abilities can't be activated, okay. Too bad our Titan got countered there. I totally forgot about the briefcase, that they can sacrifice it for mana. I mean, it was still kind of a gamble. Disdainful Stroke here. It's a good counter spell. And now we have a huge problem. Ren and 7.
The entire forest is in awe.
Alright. So we could go for Kodama here again, but I barely see any use for it. Froghemoth could be interesting, but there's not really anything interesting. I think we just want to level up the Ranger class here and see what we can get. The Skewed Swarm is kind of getting out of hand for our opponent. Toski next turn will be great. I mean, by then they will have developed bigger board, but yeah, we will see. Another Prismatic Bridge trigger now is really big. Okay, that... no, I think this game is over. Hullbreaker Horror is... this is going to be scary. Our opponent will need some instant speed interaction. I think they might take the Ranger class here because we've put a lot of mana into it already. Okay, they are taking a token, makes sense. But they are having just 2 cards in hand. Can go for... no, they cannot recast it. Okay.
We can cast a much
Taking lands into the hand. Junji's in the graveyard now. Now they are having 5. Could recast it, go for a cycle. Okay. Yeah. Let's simply try to play Toski here. Let's see what they are going to do against 9 attacks. I think before damage they will bounce the Toski. Okay. They are taking out the lowest threats in my opinion. I think they should go for way more of those Skewed Swarms. But maybe they also just want to prevent as much damage as possible. Still 3 triggers. We will get a land. Yeah, and simply because we can, we will replay our commander. No bigger reason to keep anything up. I don't think that the Defend the Celestials will help in any way pretty soon. And the wash away is great here. We still have 7. And yeah. But due to the fact that they are getting coils and we aren't getting any advantages from our landfall. Well, we are getting the landfall trigger from the Skewed Swarm, but we don't get any additional lands into play, which would give us a huge advantage here. Toski is gone now. Yeah, we would need a ramp spell here, just to get an overwhelming army of Skewed Swarms. They will just keep bouncing those tokens, and yeah, we need to extend the Skewed Swarm advantage. Although they will come for a lot of damage now, we are probably forced to go for a jump block here. I think, no, they can kill us. Yeah, no, they can kill us. They simply have to tap down some of the remaining tokens with those coils, and then they have lethal. Yeah, good game. Interesting match against the Prismatic Bridge. The Disdainful Stroke really did a great job there of countering our spell, the Titan of Industry.
From root to canopy, the trees are mighty.
Okay. Then we take another turn. Let's see if we can find one of our ram spells. Nope, there's just another land. We will just build a board here. And yeah, that will be it for now. Let's see if our opponent will finish us off this time. Okay, Jin-Gitaxias. By invitation only. Farewell, Mastery. Okay.
Here, let me.
Yep. Getting rid of more tokens. Four, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so, but by now they simply go for an all-out attack and then they have it. Alright. Good game. Alright guys, so this was some of the gameplay for the Kodama of the West Tree Standard Brawl Commander. I think the deck is funny. It might be because I'm still missing a few good cards in here, but overall it is really heavily depending on if you hit your first trigger on turn 3. You have those, quite a few early enablers like the Iron Apprentice or the Swarm Shambler. If you can make it happen that they connect on turn 3 with while Kodama is out, you often have a pretty big advantage that will help you to close out the game. There are many interesting cards that work with the landfall trigger, for example the Roaring Earth, or as we have just seen in the last match with the Skewed Swarm. But as I've said, Kodama really helps you to ramp into some of your big win cons. For example, I think the Froghemoth is pretty cool in this deck, and the Everbrook Caretaker is also very strong alongside with Vorinclex and the Titan of Industry. But it's really all about, in my opinion, of getting those early enablers going and yeah, being able to connect on turn 3 with Kodama. One of the best cards in my opinion is the Emergent Sequence. I think it is a good card for your turn 2 play. As we have seen in one of the games, you bring out one of your early enablers, I think it was the Iron Apprentice, you follow up with the Emergent Sequence, and on turn 3 you immediately have 2 modified creatures that can attack. One is a 1/1, the other one is a 2/2. Not every deck is immediately able to answer that on turn 3, and so you're most likely guaranteed a trigger of Kodama of the West Tree. So that's actually pretty cool, and yeah, I think it did a great job. It's interesting, the deck, but as you have also seen in some of the games, as soon as Kodama gets answered on turn 3, you are having a hard time of catching up. You really need to hit your land drops to bring it out on turn 5 again. But if you can get that going, there is still a chance that you catch up with your engine and then you're good to go. So overall, fun deck. I think it's also pretty cool for some of the daily wins. By the way, Cup Attack Wrecker, pretty good card in this deck. But overall, I think it's a good deck if you want to get if you have some quests for your play green cards and stuff like that, or attack with creatures, then the deck is just great for that, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's not too complicated, and yeah, fun deck overall. And then I would say, see you in the next video. Goodbye guys.